planned to say, but I just thought of it. So, I just wanted to tell a story that was especially special to me. When I was a senior in college, Mom had gone to Branson, Missouri. I don't even know who with, some relative or somebody. And I had this boy that I really thought I loved, and he broke up with me that day. And I called her, and I was alone in my apartment. None of my roommates were around. I just remember being so upset, and just everybody's felt like that in their lives. Everybody has been broken up with and feels that horrible feeling. And Mom said, well, we're on our way home from Branson, and I'll drive from Richmond to JMU when I get home. And she got there like midnight. And I thought to myself, that was, I mean, at the time I really appreciated it, but now I think, that's just so above and beyond what any parent should be expected to do. And she was so great because she took me around, drove me to my classes, took me to dinner, you know, just pampered me, did all my laundry, cleaned up my room for me. I mean, she just did all those things, and she's done that for me a couple times. She showed up and just basically saved my life, saved me in so many situations. Everyone here probably knows that she would just go out of her way for anyone here. And probably a lot of people here, she's been your go-to person when you've been in a crisis in your life. She really is a person you can always count on to lift you up when you are in a bad place in your life. And she and Dad helped me get out of a horrible marriage, and I was so scared. And Mom said, don't worry, we're going to take care of you, Karen. We're going to make sure you're okay. And they have. And that's just been, thank you. It's such an emotional basket case. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to be so emotional.
I like that little boy on TV that gives that little girl in the bus a Kleenex.
Yeah. Well, okay, so that's Mom. And Dad, Dad is just always available. Anytime you need him. I mean, I've been at home with my kids, and I'm like, it's 10 o'clock at night. I'm like, shit, I need more milk for tomorrow. I call Dad. He goes and gets milk and brings it to me. I mean, I think it's so spoiled. Like, I don't want to use that availability or to my advantage unless I absolutely need it. But Mom, of course, always say, don't worry, your dad will go pick you up some milk and he'll pick it up for you. And then, you know, he's got this horrible knee, and I've felt so badly that he's got to get out of the car and walk into Kroger and get, so I make sure I'm out in the yard to meet him so he doesn't have to walk all the way up to my front porch and drop it off. And even though I'm 43, I know that when my battery goes dead in my car, my dad's who I call. And so I said to him recently, the kids were out of town for a couple weeks with their dad, and I was kind of like this, I saved the day a few times for the family. I felt really good about it. They called me up and they're like, Karen, we have a flat tire. Well, first of all, I had taken Stella to gymnastics for some reason. Ben and Paige were busy, and I took Stella to gymnastics. And I thought I'll sit there and just watch Stella do her gymnastics. And I get this phone call, Karen, we need you to come up to, we're at Aldi. We're at that place where Topeka's used to be, and we got a flat tire. I need you to come up here and get us. So they had.
Wait, are you talking about some black woman?
Come on.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I must have the wrong impression, but everyone here knows. So I show up. Reese has crap in his underwear, and then there was Anna, and they had the flat tire, and they called AAA, so we were waiting for AAA because they had to make it down to see a dodgeball game of Mark's. My brother's having a dodgeball game. So they're going to take the kids down there. Well, Mom, he had underwear. I'm like, Mom, just throw the underwear out. No, I'm going to wash them out. They'll be fine. You know, every other person on earth would have just, like, taken them and thrown them in the trash. Anyway, that's too many details. But Mom finally says to Dad, why are we waiting here? Let's call AAA and tell them, forget it. We don't need you to come now. We'll just come later when we get back from the dodgeball game. And Dad is just like lost his mind at this point. He's so pissed because he just wants to get this done. So Mom's like, call AAA. He's like, I'm not calling AAA. They're on their way. They just told me they're on their way. Well, he calls and we get it canceled. Anyway, we go to the dodgeball game. I take them down there with all the car seats and everything. And then they made it home. I guess Mark gave you a ride home? I don't even know. But my point is, there's all these crazy things, and I said to Dad, I said, gosh, I really feel like I've saved the day a couple times this week. He said, Karen, I feel like that all the time. And I was like, man, he's such an awesome dude. And one more thing, just about the store. There was a Tuckahoe Little League group that made the World Series a couple years ago. Am I talking too long?
No.
I'm sorry.
You got 3 more
sorry.
minutes.
I hope I'm interesting. So Paige and Kristen and I were standing there, and we said, well, Dad, what do we do for Tuckahoe Little League? Didn't we do their uniforms, and they're in the World Series, and I'm like, didn't we do all the stuff for them? I said, that's kind of exciting. I feel really proud that Disco Sports did that. And he said, every stitch. We did every stitch. And I thought, he was really proud. And I was really proud of them. You know, because that was a big deal. You know, the kids went to the World Series, and we did their uniforms. And that's a real thrill, you know, when we do all that work, and especially them, they do all the work. And we see these kids wearing the stuff that we produced and created for them. So the other thing I wanted to say was about the business. Okay, I had some notes. Okay, basically, they have, I don't believe, and I'll tell you, Scott told me this. He gave me a little bit of inspiration because, you know, I'm so on the inside of Disco Sports and in the family. And he said, as someone who's not a member of the family, I look out from the inside, and this is what I see. And I think a lot of you people will probably feel the same way, that they have impacted hundreds of people's lives over the years. All the employees they've hired and mentored and impacted over the course of their lives. And Mom's door and Dad's door has always been open. Dad isn't much of counseling as he is, you know, kind of a little bit intimidating. Hey, how's everybody doing out here on the floor? You know, I mean, Mom's like, hey, Shuggy, come on, tell me your problems. So I just think that they have really changed so many lives. So many kids that have been through the store when they were a teenager and had a job, that they gave them their first chance. And I look at even some of the people we have there now and how much they've grown just by being at our store over the past couple of years, and how many life skills we've taught them. And I think that is probably one of the greatest things about them owning Disco Sports for all these years. And really the impact that we've had on the community, trying to make sure that we have what people need and that we sell them what they need. And that has always been such a constant message that Mom and Dad have portrayed to all of our employees. And so I can't thank them enough for how much they've taught me about life and business and people. And I guess that's really all I had to say. But thank you so much for coming, and Mom and Dad, thanks for being my superheroes.
Who gets to follow that?